tell me what happened over at the fire station after Irene.
Oh my
that
goodness.
was sort of the hub.
That was Avon Volunteer Fire Department was fantastic. Right after the storm, there wasn't any phone service. So my first concern is to let my family in Virginia know that we're okay, you know. So I go up there, and those guys were busy as they could be, and I made a phone call, and I offered to cook them something to eat, and they said, "No, it's okay, and they're busy.
And those are the
volunteer firemen. It was Kenny Bright and Jan Laskow at that time. And so I made my phone call, and I came back home, and Antoinette walked up there. It was they had power at the fire department. They had their generator on, and so and it was hot. And so a lot of the village kids were up at the fire department watching TV. So the kids were hanging out up there, and the volunteer firemen were doing, you know, what they had to do and everything. So I came home, and Antoinette had gone up there to check on the kids, and she said, she came back and she said, "Mom, there were some people looking for some food up there." And then I said, "Oh, okay." And so then a girl that goes to church with me, Angela Lofty, she goes up there, and she comes back to my house, and she says, "Denise, what are we going to do to feed all these people? There's people looking for food." And I said, "All right." And so I went to church, because we had a pantry at church, and we had food at church, because we were doing community dinners at church, and so we had some food in the...
And which church?
St. John's United Methodist Church, okay. Which was flooded.
Oh, it was?
Oh, yeah. We had, St. John's United Methodist Church had about 8 inches of water in the church. So we had it raised after that too, but... so it was flooded. So I went in there, and I got what we had there, and so we had some hamburger in the freezer and some different stuff. So anyway, so I went up there, and I told the firemen, I said, "All right, I'm cooking dinner here. Just get the word out that we're going to have a dinner at the fire department tonight." And so Antoinette and her husband Brian, my son Tater, and my niece Carrie, and I just got a group of us together, and Angela Lofty, and I think Jennifer Harmon. The first night, even my nephew Liam was in there opening cans, and you know, we all got in that kitchen, and we cooked hamburger steak with gravy and mashed potatoes and green beans, and I don't know, we put on a big dinner that night, and about 125 people came and ate that first night. Well, by the second day, we were feeding over 300 people 3 meals a day.
Oh my goodness.
By the second day.
Because people had no power.
No power. The food line was closed. They weren't they couldn't cook. The power was out, so a lot of their food was spoiled. And so we ended up feeding over a 15-day period. We ended up feeding 10,500 meals.
Oh my goodness.
That's 3 meals a day. So I would show up there. We would all show up, and I'd be up there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we'd start breakfast. And then we'd clean up from breakfast, and we'd start lunch. And we'd clean up from lunch, and we'd start dinner. So we had, and so, but I'd say by the third day, they had called Salvation Army was on its way by the third day. And so we had already been feeding over 300 people every meal. So they just joined in with us and helped us, and we just continued. And I think our largest numbers was one night we did 600 for dinner. Well, the restaurants found out we were doing it, and the restaurants on in the village in Avon were all geared up for Labor Day weekend. So their walk-ins were full of food. Their walk-in freezers and everything were full of food, and all the restaurants had all kinds of food in for the holiday weekend and everything for the week, and no customers, and weren't going to get any customers.
Right.
So they were bringing us food. We ended up having Sears sent down an extra refrigerator and an extra freezer for us for a very low cost. And we had the fire department has a commercial size freezer and a commercial size refrigerator, and they were packed.
Oh.
So, I mean, everybody was giving us their food. And so we had crab meat, we had shrimp, we had fish, we had clams. We made big pots of chowders, and I mean, we were eating good.